What's going on, you guys? Slim here to bring you guys another deck profile from our Pasadena, California regionals that took place this past weekend. Over 700 players, 10 rounds of Swiss, and I got you guys the 4th place PSY-FRAME LUNALIGHT deck profile. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit the notification bell. You guys will get notified whenever I upload. Yeah, you guys, PSY-FRAME, Time Thieves, and LUNALIGHTs, and everything is in this deck. It's amazing. Shout out to Christiansen. She was kind enough to send me the list. I know you guys really wanted this list. A lot of people were talking about this list at the regional, and yeah, if you watched all day, this deck was insane. I don't think we've really seen like a lot of crazy things like we see here in the side deck. A lot of these things haven't been done. And we also have not seen, versions of the deck playing the side frame trap and a lot of stuff like that, and I think that really gave her a really strong advantage in this regional. I also have her tournament report that I'll have at the end, but yeah, we'll get into the deck. I think the deck is crazy. You guys can already tell it's not gonna be budget. You have to play Magician Souls, but ever since that card came out, if it wasn't for Spiral, it was going to be used in LUNALIGHT. It was going to be amazing, but we'll get into the main deck. So for the monsters, we got the Apprentice, Illusion, Magician. This is just you need to send this off Souls. She only want to play one. Figure you don't want to brick on it. I mean, you can do stuff with it, but it's not that great. So one is plenty. You got the one Zephyros. It's a combo piece. This card is nuts. Dangers, you got 2 copies of Mothman. One of the few decks that actually plays Mothman, one of the few danger decks that plays Mothman, because you really are trying to utilize your rank 4s. As you guys can see, this deck is rank 4 spam on, there's no way around it. You definitely just want to turbo out Dweller, turbo out Tornado Dragon, depending on what you play against. You also turbo out the Time Thief for Doers. So Mothman is a great card in this deck, and even though it lets your opponent draw, it helps you filter your cards, and being able to discard cards in LUNALIGHT is really important. So you definitely have to play this card. Of course, the one Nessie, because it's at 1, 2 copies of Jackalope, and the 2 copies of Snake. That's it for the dangers. You don't need more than that in this deck. This deck is just trying to get to your rank 4s, just trying to get advantage, just trying to link away and make curious, and dangers are the best at making curious. So here's that. On to the LUNALIGHT cards. We got the 1 copy of Emerald Bird, that's standard. 3 copies of Kaleido Chick. This card is nuts. Always remember this card sends for cost. Don't ever forget that, because yeah, this card is just nuts, and this card is not once per turn, so the more they bring it back with this card, your monster reborn 3 times a turn, your LUNALIGHT tiger, things get really crazy. This is just another crazy card. Just being able to reborn 3 times in a turn is absolutely ridiculous, but this card is amazing as well for the engine, as well as the 2 copies of Yellow Martin. These are all the standard LUNALIGHT cards that you've seen before in all these LUNALIGHT decks. So yeah, it's LUNALIGHT's dangers and everything, and then of course the money card, Magician Soul. So this card, say what you want, this card is insane. Being able to draw cards is nuts. Being able to get a free summon is nuts. Being able to put the Apprentice Illusion in the graveyard is nuts. There's so many things this card does for the deck. You guys already saw during the first week when Magician Souls was legal that PSY-FRAMEs were already playing. That's PSY-FRAME. LUNALIGHT were already playing this card, and yeah, I think it's going to be something we're going to see going forward. This is one of the best cards to be released in a long time, and it helps multiple decks this format, so don't be surprised if you see this card when you go up against LUNALIGHT in the future. And then of course the PSY-FRAME and the drivers. So this is easily one of the best hand traps. If you notice, this is the only hand trap in the main deck. This is probably the most impactful because it can't be called by the grave. It also is able to destroy pretty much any problematic monster effect and get it off the board. I think the fact that it gets it off the board is huge, kind of similar to Ghost Ogre, but it does both. It negates and gets it off the board, whereas cards like Valor, cards like Ash, they do stop the monster's effect, but they leave it on board, allowing you to continue to your link plays or whatever else you're trying to do. So Gamma's just really strong, and like I said, the main reason being that it can't be called by the grave makes it a very, very strong choice this format. On to the spells, you got 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. You have all these dark monsters in the deck. There's no reason not to. This just helps you turbo through your deck, along with the 1 card Destruction. So this card in tandem with Dangers is insane. This card in tandem with LUNALIGHT monsters is insane because you want all your monsters in the graveyard. Yeah, this is like the biggest ash bait that there ever was. This card is ridiculous. This card can work for you. It can backfire for you. You can turn your opponent's awful hand into a godly hand, or vice versa. You can take away all their good cards and then draw just completely dead pieces, especially in a deck that runs Garnets. Like, you could literally just card Destruction, they lose all their combo pieces and draw all their Garnets, and then they just kind of lose out. But yeah, I love card Destruction ever since it came out in starter deck Yu-Gi, and it's crazy after all these years this card is still being played in multiple decks. So yeah, card Destruction's insane. Of course, the 3 copies of Tenki, because for some reason LUNALIGHTs are all Beast Warriors, so that's pretty cool. Just search whatever you need and just keep going. Amazing card in this deck. We play all 4 Foolishes, the 1 copy of Foolish Burial and the 3 copy of Foolish Goods. Send your LUNALIGHT cards. They have effects in the grave. No reason not to. Of course, you've got your Monster Reborn. You banish this, discard a card, add a LUNALIGHT from your deck to your hand. You can just send this card to the graveyard with Foolish Burial Goods, as well as the Serenade Dance. Basically, it only ever comes up for, I believe, its other effect. All the times I've played against them, you banish this card, send one card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do special summon a LUNALIGHT monster from your deck. So yeah, so this special's from deck. So yeah, you can ash it and whatnot, but still, just being able to send these cards off Foolish Burial Goods is nuts. Just helps with your consistency, so you don't draw as many dead cards. So really cool. And then to wrap up this deck, there is 2 copies of PSY-FRAME Overlord. So I have no idea. Overload. I don't know what this card does. So what it says is once per turn, you can banish 1 PSY-FRAME monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field and target 1 card on the field. Banish it face down. During either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish. Let's see. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 PSY-FRAME card from your deck to your hand except PSY-FRAME Overload. So you're telling me you can literally Foolish Burial Goods this, and then you can banish it and search Gamma. That's ridiculous. You always can search Gamma in this deck, which is insane. So yeah, that's a really, really spicy tech in this deck, and clearly it worked out because of how impactful Gamma is this format. So that's insane. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So that's it for the main deck. Side deck real quick. This is where it gets even more spicy. So we got 3 copies of Gamma Seal. Talked about Kaijus in multiple deck profiles already. They're really strong in this format. Helps you crack a board, you know, take away a problematic monster, begin to crack the board. Pretty standard. It doesn't take away from your normal summon, so that's very important. And then the other PSY-FRAMEs are played. We've got the Beta and the copies of Epsilon. So Beta, I believe, is the, what is it? Beta is the one, what is this even said? Yeah, I don't even know what these do. And cannot be, when your monster declares an attack while you control no monsters, you can special summon oh, this is like the attack stopper. And 1 PSY-FRAME driver from your hand, deck, or graveyard. If you do, destroy the attacking monster, then end the battle phase. Oh, wow. So this card's nuts. So you literally can just end the battle phase right there when the opponent's trying to like kill you or whatnot. So you can beta them. So that's pretty cool. And also we've got Epsilon, and Epsilon is the one that is for trap cards. That's crazy. So you anticipate that you're going to play against a lot of back row decks. Yeah, you can drop this and just negate the trap. That's crazy. Epsilon's nuts. So also in tandem with this card in the deck, you can search them at any time. So once you know the matchup, you're able to basically tutor your hand for exactly what you're playing against. So that's awesome. And the second copy of PSY-FRAME driver, just because you play all these PSY-FRAME cards, you don't want to lose out. If your driver does leave the field, you do want to have another one in the deck. And then this card, 3 copies of Mystic Mime. I'll say what I want. I know this card is highly effective this format, especially if you baited all your opponent's negates and then you Mystic Mine them. They don't have another out in the deck. The game's probably over. And that's pretty much what I think the strategy was behind this. They see you want to go first. They make you go second. You bait out all their negates, slap down a Mystic Mine, and you either slow the game or you win the game. So be warned, Mystic Mine is still in this game. Be prepared for it, and don't be surprised if you play against it at any event, because honestly, it's still just as effective as it was last format. And then, of course, the 2 copies of Twin Twister, just more back row removal, and 3 evenly matched. So the 3 evenly matched and the 2 Twin Twisters, those are for the back row deck matchups. I mean, you also have the Epsilon too, so you have a really good strategy going in against those decks. They definitely will not see the Epsilon coming at all, so I think that's absolutely awesome. That's a great way to, you know, kind of tutor your side deck and, again, tutor your deck depending on the matchup. Extra deck real quick, the 1 Dweller. This card is like auto win against so many decks this format. You can blind Dweller and the opponent just can't play, and you can just win the next turn, so this is crazy. The 1 Tiger King is a facilitates for your 10 keys. It also can be a skill drain if the effect resolves. You got the Degusto Emerald, reshuffles your sources. The 1 Exciton Knight, I'm sure this card is nuts. I'm sure this card still catches people off guard. Just being able to wipe out the whole board is nuts. The 1 Baguska, a lot of decks have a problem with this card. It just, you know, they can't really do anything, so this is a really cool card. I noticed even some Salad decks are starting to play this card again. The 1 Force Strikes because it's part of the combo. The 1 Time Thief for Doer, this card is nuts. Just being able to spin away, being able to take cards is crazy. The 1 Tornado, because, you know, you play against back row decks. Standard, it's during either player's turn. You get rid of problematic back row with ease. 1 Appaloosa, because the deck can make it quite easily. This card is insane. The 1 Curious, because, you know, you just want to send stuff, mill stuff. Dangers and Lunalights, put it all together, they make Curious. The 1 IP, because it's a great form of disruption. You can link up into your Unicorn for another form of disruption during your opponent's turn. Then you got the Avramax, which is a really hard card for a lot of decks to out, and 2 copies of PSY-FRAME Lambda, probably because just how often this will come up. Just being able to make one, if it ends up leaving the board, you end up linking it away. Being able to make another one is super important in this deck, since, as you guys can see, there is more emphasis on the PSY-FRAME cards themselves. So yeah, so that is it for the main deck, side deck, and extra deck, and just the tournament report real quick. The player told me I played basically against one of everything. Round 1, 1, they played against Paleo Frogs, and they beat it 2-0. Round 2, they played against Shadal Dinos, and they beat it 2-0. Round 3, they played against Going Second Unchained Burning Abyss, I think, question mark. They beat it 2-0, whatever it was. Round 4, they played against Guru, and they beat it 2-1. Round 5, they played against Grand Maju and beat it 2-0. Round 6, they played against Salad, and they lost 0-2. That was their only loss. I believe they played against my boy Dario, so shout out to Dario. Round 7, they played against Spiral and beat it 2-1. Round 8, they played against Invoke Mech Knights, and they beat it 2-1. Round 9, it was going to be against Rank 10 Trains, but the opponent was disqualified, so technically it was a 2-0. Yeah, that happened, you guys. During Round 9, the player ended up getting disqualified. We have no reason why, but they ended up being DQ'd out of the tournament, so you take the win 2-0. And Round 10, they wrapped it up by beating Altergeist 2-0. But that is it, you guys. That is the top 4 PSY-FRAME LUNALIGHT deck profile from our Pasadena Regionals. Crazy synergy with the PSY-FRAME cards along with the LUNALIGHT cards. I think it's great that more players are trying to implement other engines in order to give themselves an advantage in every kind of matchup. But I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. If you have any comments, be sure to leave them below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Have you guys enjoyed it? Give it a thumbs up and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.